Hey guys, it's Jensen. Let's talk about what I've been reading this week. So first, just some quick updates about books that I am still working on or books that I DNF'd this week, and then we'll get into the books that I read and finished. So the first, I wanted to let you know I'm still reading The Color Purple. I got a little bit further into it this week. I don't have that much to say about it. I'm still reading it, and I'm finding it a little bit easier to read as I continue to read it. It's getting a little bit easier to get through. I mentioned last week that it's a little bit hard to read this just because of it's written in her accent and her twang, and so that it makes it a little bit difficult because words are spelled differently and stuff. So it's just a little bit harder for me to read books like this, but I am enjoying this. I'm getting through it a little bit more quickly, and it's really good so far. Next, I wanted to talk about This Is the Story of a Happy Marriage by Ann Patchett. I did pick this up this week, and I was loving it so much that, and I got to an essay where I just wanted to underline so many things. So I decided that I'm going to put this down and I'm just going to buy it. So I bought it on Amazon. It should come in today, and I'm really excited to get it so I can actually underline and put tabs on passages that I love. So unfortunately, I didn't finish it because I wanted to wait until I have a copy that I can mark up. But I am loving this book so much that I wanted to buy a copy myself. So that says something, I think. But yeah, this is going to go back to the library, and I'm just going to continue reading my own copy. And finally, the book that I DNF'd this week. So this is The Perfect Couple by Ellen Hilderbrand. I got 154 pages in, and it's really well written. I didn't realize that Ellen Hilderbrand is a graduate of the Iowa Writers Workshop, so very prestigious. You can tell she's a good writer. But I just felt like I knew where this book was going, and it had a lot of plot devices that I'm not a big fan of, and at the risk of spoiling, I'm not going to tell you what those plot devices were because it's a murder mystery. I don't want to reveal too much, but not a big fan of those plot devices. And so I kind of felt like I knew where the mystery was going. Only, I wasn't even, I'm maybe a third of the way in. I wasn't even halfway. I knew exactly what was going to happen, I felt like. So I committed a cardinal sin, you guys. I did what you're not supposed to do with the mystery novel. And I flipped to the end to see if I was right. And I was. I knew exactly what was going to happen, and there wasn't really any surprises, and so I've decided I'm not going to pick it up. Sometimes even if I flip ahead, because I do that sometimes, I can still read the book because I want to know everything that happens, but I feel like I already figured out while reading, and so I know what's going to happen. I don't like some of the elements in this book, and so it's probably just not going to happen. It has to go back to the library in the next couple of days, so probably not going to finish it. It was good while I was reading it, but then I just kind of got bored, and so yeah, it was a bit disappointing. But I don't think this is a one and done for me. I think I will try to pick up more Ellen Hilderbrand in the future. So yeah. So now let's talk about the books that I finished this week. The first is The Interpreter of Maladies by Jhumpa Lahiri. I really enjoyed this. 4 out of 5 stars. Some of the stories are fantastic. Really enjoyable. The characters well developed. You get to know them really well and fall in love with them, even though the story is only 20 pages. Some of them are just okay, or they're not going to stick with you as much, but some of them are just really good. So yes, this was a really quick, easy read. The stories, I just kind of flew through them. So yeah, I think I want to read more of her work because she's a really good storyteller. And she's really good, I mentioned last week, at just knowing the character's backstory and developing them well enough that even though it's a short story, you feel like you know their past and you know who they are, which is not an easy thing. So I'm excited to check out more of her work. And the other book that I finished was By the Book by Julia Sunborn, and I adore this book. It's a 3 out of 5 stars because it's more of just a light, more chick lit type read. There's nothing too deep about it, and it does have some problematic elements, but overall I really enjoyed this one. This is basically a retelling of Persuasion, which is one of my favorite Austen novels. So I really enjoyed that, and as soon as I could see the parallels, I really started to enjoy it and just kind of fly through it, because it's such a good story. It's such a good romance. So yes, I really like this one. It reads more like a Hallmark movie or a cheesy romantic comedy. So it's really readable. It's really fun. It's light. It's fluffy, and it does have some good discussions. It's very bookish. It brings up a lot about books. The character loves books and reading, and she goes to the library all the time. So it was fun to get a little peek behind the scenes of a professor of English and who's working on a scholarly book, and getting to go with her as she's trying to do her research and going into the archives and stuff. That was fun. It's just a fun, delightful read. I adored it. So yeah. So by the book and my July book haul, I bought a ton of books yesterday, have already kind of messed with my July TBR. It's not even July, and my July TBR is already probably going to go to crap. But because I read by the book, I really want to read Persuasion now. I reread it because I read it before. Yeah, I love this book. I love it so much. It's probably one of her best, if not Pride and Prejudice. It's one of her one of the most perfect novels. If you don't know what this is about a man and a woman who were engaged 7 years before the novel really starts, or before the plot really starts. And they're engaged, but her family doesn't approve, and so they force her to break off the engagement. He goes off to war, and he becomes very wealthy. And he comes back, and they run into each other, but he's still very bitter about what's happened in the past. And so there's a lot of angst, but it's a good angst, because you can understand why he's so bitter and why there's some miscommunication there, and you're just waiting for and there's so much good build up for them to finally get together. I don't think that's spoiling anything, because it's a Jane Austen novel, but yes, I am so excited to read this again. And the other book that I'd like to pick up this week is called The Midwife by Jennifer Worth. This was on my July TBR. I recently started rewatching the series, and so I thought it would be fun to pick up the book. I did briefly mention what this was about in my July TBR. This is basically, it's a memoir written by a woman who was a midwife in the 1950s, so after World War II. And it's basically just her experience working in the East End, in a poverty-stricken, horrible living conditions area where there's just so many babies born every month, and just her busy life working and helping these people deliver their children and take care of them. So I really love the show. I'm hoping I'm really going to like the book too. So yeah, I'm excited. So this week I DNF'd The Perfect Couple by Ellen Hilderbrand. I'm still probably going to try to pick up more of her work. This was not a one and done deal. I finished By the Book by Julia Sunborn and The Interpreter of Maladies by Jean Lahiri. And I am going to continue to read This Is the Story of a Happy Marriage by Anne Patchett when I get my own copy, and The Color Purple by Alice Walker. And I hope to pick up Call of the Midwife and Persuasion in the coming week. So thank you so much for watching this video. I post videos every Wednesday and Sunday, and I'll see you next time. Bye.